Baz Hulse, thank you for being on the Better Than Peter podcast.
No, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, so my name's Barry Hulse. Everybody calls me Baz, shortened to Baz. I'm 51. Well, 3 days ago I was 51, unfortunately. And yeah, we're here to talk about this story. Basically, I was 9 years, 8 months in various Indian prisons from when I was 36 to 46 sort of age. So yeah, that's about it really to kick us off.
But you were sentenced for 20 years, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. Just to give you a sort of an overview, I used to travel to Goa within India, sort of from the year 99, 2000 for sort of the following few years. And myself and my late mother decided to get an apartment off plan, building it over sort of 4 years. Long story short, I went back overseeing that building. It's only a cheap place. And like I said, I visited it a lot. 2005, I took some ornaments back in my luggage. It was like a wooden elephant and a Buddha and a few other bits and bobs, knickknacks. And they charged me like £180 at the airport for the excess baggage. So the following year, I'd gone back with a friend, and basically the friend has took my details. Unbeknownst to me, I thought he posted like T-shirts and incense sticks and creams and things. Basically, you buy them from the flea market in Goa. So I was going to send them home. He said, I'll take them to the post office. I come back in the January, never received the boxes or whatever that had been sent. And he was sort of asking the question, where are these boxes? I said, well, and he said, well, I put a few diazepam and Viagra's in. I said, well, that's why they've not come. So I forgot about it. Now, you had to declare where you were staying within Goa. It's called a declaration form at the post office. And I filled out all the details, I mean, you know, innocently, and declared what was in it. So I was staying at this certain hotel, and I went back to the same hotel in the March for a week's stay. And from the reception, they handed me a note and said, basically, Mumbai Customs, which is like 2.5 hours flight from Goa, that's the main city to send the international parcels. They'd seized these boxes because they was misdeclared and they contained diazepam. They didn't say any amount or anything, and that was that. And if I wanted to actually get them back, I had to travel to Mumbai. I needed a proof of purchase, a medicinal license, which is very important. I found out later because it's a pharmaceutical drug, and blah blah blah. So I didn't think it was like serious. So I ripped the note up. I travelled back to India 4 times over the following few years. 2009. Unbeknownst to me, I'd been on all the Indian airports, like it's called an LOC, a lookout circular for me, like I was some big wanted terrorist or something, you know. It was human error, they'd not noticed it on the screens. And 2009, they'd noticed it. And basically, the nightmare began from there. The Mumbai's customs flew in, and then I flew to Mumbai. They produced me in a court the following morning. The interrogation wasn't so bad, but in India, you're guilty before proven innocent.
I'll hold you just over there, just because
okay.
I want to understand how well or how little did you know of the person who you trusted to send the luggage off to?
Because it was a friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was a friend for the past sort of 3 or 4 years.
A lot of people in the interview that I saw were thinking that, how were you not aware? Or some of them had questioned that maybe you were naive, but the fact that you had 71,000 pills or something to that effect were shipped. And but just clarify for people out there that you really were unaware because you had come to India subsequently. So I just wanted to be a little bit clear just from the horse's mouth.
Yes, of course. Like I mentioned earlier, the post office, I didn't know where the post office was. So I foolishly trusted this friend to go and post them. Like I say, when we returned home, about 3 weeks after they should have arrived, he actually come to my house and he said, have you got your boxes? Because I've not received mine. So I said, well, no. So it sort of a week went by again. He asked me again, and it sort of rung about thinking, why is he so interested? And I said, why are you so interested? because nothing's in there of yours. It was all mine, a load of t-shirts, creams, like I say, loads of different things. And he said, well, basically, I put some Viagra's and some diazepam tablets in the box. Now, unbeknownst to me, I'd like to say in India, you can buy these over the counter. So I'd met many British travellers before, like I say, you take them home in the luggage. I didn't think it'd be an issue. I travelled back to the country. This was around 2004-05. I went back to the country 4 occasions on holiday.
When you
3
say
occasions.
you went, so when you say you went back to the country, so you'd returned to the UK,
yes.
This shipment never arrived. And when you say when you went back to the country,
yes.
you went back to India as a tourist, and
yes.
you cleared immigration, no issues. You went back to the UK after that. You came back again, and then
following year.
Yep, and then so if you had known, and again, you would have been incredibly stupid to be able to become, or so it's so for
I mean,
me,
if I knew the quantity is 71,500, which was 710 strips of 10. Basically, they come in strips of 10, so they're only sort of so big, and I just didn't realize it'd be such a large amount. But when I was in the interrogation and they revealed what was in the first box, the amount, obviously I was really scared, because I thought there's another couple of boxes to be sent as well, that was sent. So, like I say, subsequently they found them, and the total was 75,100. So obviously people will always have comments and everything else, and I was naive, to trust someone that I thought I could trust, basically. Again, from his point of view, I don't think he thought it was going to be so serious either, if I did get caught. And I mean, I didn't think I was going to get caught for anything, because I've gone back to the country on so many occasions, holidaying. So it was a real shock.
For people out there, when he says come back to the country, it means he returned back to India. So
just this return, basically, once a year, 2 weeks holiday. 2 weeks holiday and return back home. So
thanks, Baz, for clarifying that. Just because
there
was a little bit, even for me, while trying to have you as a guest on the podcast, I felt I did my due diligence, and I felt comfortable enough knowing that you were authentic enough. You really didn't know, but now I think this clarifies the fact that you got these things shipped from India to the UK. Obviously, there was this massive quantity of pills in it. It never got delivered. You went back to India as a tourist. You managed to come back to the UK, no issues. The next time you went to India, that was when all the trouble started.
The
third time. Third time,
yeah. That's just 2005. They were
normally they say third time's the charm. Well, in your case,
third time lucky, third time unlucky.
Yeah, all right.
But
so thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, sure.
As you said, you never know how long you'd be in for, if God forbid you ever. But again, I want to go back for you're in Goa, you come every year, and for you at one point of time, if I'm not mistaken, you were even thinking of potentially buying property. So you feel pretty comfortable over there, and you're a tourist who's getting to kind of feel that, okay, this is a place where I could potentially look at it as maybe a few months of the year. And then your world flips upside down, where you're in a jail, which is with 200 other prisoners. And how mentally shattering was that, in the sense that you're going from having a tourist mindset to being locked behind bars and having no privacy, having no rights, and being on your own?
Well, I always say, what you've never had, you'll never miss. So I think it's more unfortunate for Westerners and people that have had luxuries, and a luxury can mean a bubble bath. That is a luxury. So you go in these places. My lawyer said to me, look, you're going to get at least 60 days. And I was like, 60 days? I can't do 60 days. My head just fell completely off. He said, it's not like the Hilton, be prepared. So the first jail was called Arthur Road. It's quite a famous jail within Mumbai. The 2008 terrorist attacks happened in the Taj Mahal, and there's a lot of movies about it and books and whatnot. Some Pakistanis come over on boats. So there was one surviving terrorist called Ajmal Kasab, and he was put in the under barrack within our prison. After a few months staying in the barrack system, like I said, they made for 80 men, 60 to 80 men, but there was 200 to 220, especially over the Christmas period, because they just throw all like the druggies in off the streets and stuff. But you know, to them it's luxury. They've got water, they've got food. But the conditions, like the sleeping conditions, you've got a 6-foot mat with 2 foot. You've got your washing line where you can hang your washing, a peg for your sort of plastic bag for your belongings. The toilet system is alien. You know, there's no toilet roll. Just the bathing system, you know, you had to fight for water a lot. And until you sort of get into sort of their mentality and how they live, it takes a good few months. You know, I'd say it took me 12 months to actually settle in sort of proper where, and like I said, there was always hope where I thought I'd go for bail, and I got bail and it got rejected. And there was a lot of hope along the way. And then when I did get sentenced, well, again, I'm going back again, but 2010, I was arrested 2009 November. 2010, I was put in an 8-number barrack. Like I said, it was just horrendous. There was, to go to the toilet in the night, you had to climb over people, you know, there was just no floor space at all. The walls full of bed bugs and all the ceiling falling apart, and, you know, the toilets, you can't explain the smells, but oh my God. And there'd only be 3 working out of the 6, you know, for 200 odd men. It was hell. It was hell to adjust. The judicial system is so far behind. We've got so many cases to get through. You get stuck in the system. I mean, my trial lasted 3 years, 8 months. There was 15 witnesses. There was bringing they have punch witnesses, basically. You have punch 1 will open the box. Punch 2 will bring out the bag. Punch 3 will open the bag. Punch 4 will say it's this drug, and so on and so forth. So they basically, nothing happens for sort of 12 to 18 months. Then you start going to the court every 2 weeks, but then there's no judge or there's no prosecutor, or your own lawyer's very hard to get hold of. It's just a shit show. Sorry for my language. It's just a crazy. So took 3 years, 8 months. And actually at the end of the trial, the judge congratulated them both on having a very fast, speedy trial. And I thought, wow, 3 years, 8 months. It's fast. And then fortunately I was found guilty, even though there's no evidence. There's no CCTV evidence of me. There was no handwriting expert, but I admitted it was my handwriting, because unbeknown, I filled out, you know, what was in the boxes innocently. So the judge decided to sentence me to 10 years for export and 10 years for possession. Now, there's no provision in Indian law to do it consecutive, but for some reason that judge gave me consecutive 10s. So it was basically a 20-year sentence. And if I didn't pay about £3,500 at the time rate of exchange fine, I would have got an extra 4 years. So in essence, it was 24 years. I met Sanjay Dutt briefly. He was then sent to Pune on a case. Salman Khan was in Pune, but I'd never actually met him. That was over a book, killing a book in the days. But he's only in a day. Obviously, they get the £1 million lawyers to get them out, you know, just with a face. So yeah, I met quite a few interesting characters, you know. So
yeah, thank you for saying that, because those are for people in India. Those are, you know, these people wouldn't
massive
be able,
stars, yeah.
yeah, these people wouldn't be able to walk down the street normally, and for you to catch them in their moment when they're, and maybe you also wouldn't have been knowing about them till maybe the other guards talk about them. So you're meeting them from a non-celebrity point of view, just as a human being.
Yeah. To be honest, though, I mean, they're all over the newspapers. So, you know, the Bollywood stars, they're all Bollywood's, you know yourself, you know, it's as big as Hollywood. And you've got your sort of 10 main actors and actresses, you know, and everyone knows the names, you know, Katrina Kaif and, you know, but they're the main actors and actresses, and everyone knows. I mean, Aditya Pancholi was probably more famous than his son Suraj, but I was training with him, exercising in there, because he still had to keep his body in shape for his films and stuff. There was a guy that had horses in England. He was a big guy. He was from another city called Pune as well. And like I say, all these bigger people that have the money, they get treated a bit better, and all you know how it works. So they all get paid. All the guards get paid, from the superintendent to the 3-star, 2-star, 1-star officers. And I'll tell you one story. I told them what happened with Ajmal Kasab. So around 2010, the middle of 2010, they built a purpose-built bomb-proof barrack for him only within Arthur Road premises. Nobody's seen Ajmal Kasab. He was took underground to the court. I never met him, but I was in the cell where he was. Because like I said, underbarrack was like, in Hindi, it means a prison within a prison. So you've got a circular stone structure. But the joy for me in this place was I had my own cell, or I shared it with 2 other men. It had 24-hour running water, and that was massive for me. Massive. You can stay clean, or there's less noise, there's less, you're away from everybody, and I was happy with that.
So did you see Ajmal Kasab, or did you not even see him?
No, didn't see him. I mean, what happened was, from the underbarrack, he got put into the bomb-proof barrack. Okay. Like I said, that was underground. It was under the ground. The court premises was also under the ground, just in Arthur Road. So nobody seen him except the guards. Nobody seen him. And when he was actually hanged, because I did still do the hanging over there, when he was actually hanged, they took him out of the prison at about 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Nobody knew. And we didn't get let out of the cells till about 11 o'clock that day or something. So everyone had an idea.
Might have guessed something's up. Because maybe,
yeah. There's either something dodgy going on, because that's what had happened if there's some sort of naughtiness happened.
Thank you for being transparent with it, because it would make for such a more sensationalistic story, and who's we wouldn't know if you were to say that I saw him, I interacted with him, and so thank you for that honesty.
Oh, no, I want to tell my story, the truth. In 2011, there was one guy called Santosh Shetty. He's like a gangster from the 90s. Dawud Ibrahim, he's in the top 10 most wanted guys in the world. He was with that gang, basically. And you had Chota Rajan, and there was a few other gangsters. Now, him and Chota Rajan were very close. They was in Bangkok together for about 4 or 5 years. They went over. Now, Dawud had sent his team, and they shot Chota Rajan in the leg a couple of times. Now, when Santosh first come, he was put in his own cell, and they won't let him out for 2 weeks. But I go to his cell and chat, very Western educated, spoke better English than me and you. Very educated man. And we become close pals, basically. And he ended up moving in his cell with him. And because I was his friend, I had it sort of boxed off for a nearly good 3 years in there. I was getting good food in. We had phone calls, and it was great. And then I got sentenced and was back to square one. But yeah, so I had good time.
So you were with him for a couple of years, and then you were moved to another jail. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, 2013. I was actually sentenced 2013 July the 5th, and I was acquitted by the High Court July the 5th, 2019. So it was exactly 6 years it took in the High Court to be heard. The judge heard the case. All arguments had finished at about March time, April. It took another 3 months to give a judgment, to say, yes, he's guilty, and no, he's not, to write the judgment. 3 months, that was the hardest 3 months I think I spent out the whole time, because every day, what's happening? Oh, it takes a week now. I thought, why? That's more torture, You've only got 4 months anyway.
Were you confident of getting acquitted, or you felt like you're going to get into the slammer again?
You just never know, but I was confident because I was innocent, and I was just unfortunate that someone had... my naivety that I'd trusted someone to go and set the box. I didn't even know where the post office was. Didn't know there was one in Goa, because it's sort of a bit third world. It's only beaches, and it's sort of inland near Panjim, I think, another place. So he's got a bike. He's gone on the bike, and that was that. Thought nothing of it. I would have never gone back to India 4 times, would I, if I knew there was 75,100 in total.
So just to refresh, this incident happened. You managed to fly out to the UK without a problem. Then you managed to come back to India. The first time round, it was all right. Correct. And then you stayed in India. And then when you were traveling back, is that when you got arrested?
No, I
Or
travelled. I travelled back and forth 3 times for like
that's
2 weeks, 2 weeks holiday. But like I said, my name was on the Indian airports in immigration, but it's human error because they've not noticed it flashing
oh. So
three times. But
you wouldn't have thought anything of it, considering that
well,
you'd
of
come back
course
a
not.
bunch of times and
I
you
just
thought
thought,
you're
yeah, I just thought a few sleeping tablets, rip the paper up. I don't want them. A few Viagra tablets, whatever it was. I don't want them. The first time I found out the total amount was a few months after because they only found 2 boxes. He sent 3. So there's a total of about 48,000. Now that carries a maximum of 10 years. Anything over 50,000 carries a minimum of 10. You see,
okay.
so I would have got out basically if it was below that, but then they found the 3rd box and it was like, you know,
I know you mentioned that you wrote a book and you're wearing the t-shirt. Show me the book and talk to me a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit about where can we get it, what's it about, and
yeah. So the book's called No Tension. Um, Basically, it's about my time, obviously there. Like I said, 9 years, 8 months. It's sort of based on what's happening in India and what's happening in England. I mean, because without my family and their support and everything else, I probably never would have got through it. So it was just a sort of continuous fight that never to give up sort of hope that one day I will get home. I try and look at the positives from it, really. It was a university. So,
and for you, I mean, is there some recurring PTSD? Is there some recurring instances where you make up in the middle of the night, or there must be? I mean, 10 years in a environment which it's with hardened criminals and all. There must be. Have you done counseling or anything?
yeah, I mean, when I come home, I got a bit of counselling. I couldn't work and things. But the funny story, my mum had these air fresheners that used to spray automatically. And I'd be in the toilet and look for rats, because I'd have rats in the cell. There'd be cockroaches. There'd be like 3 different types of ants. There'd be mosquitoes. You get swarms of things different times of years. And oh yeah, there's a lot of creatures you got to deal with as well. Yeah, it's not just the food as well. I mean, rice 3 times a day. I mean, you see in the Lad Bible one, it said, "I just eat the ants." I'd just eat the ants because you get fed up in the end. You mixed all your dal with your rice, and then you'd see an ant or two swimming, and they'll eat it.
What was the
So
meal that you were craving the most when you were in prison?
yeah, a couple of people have asked this. Now, when I was in Arthur Road, managed to get a Big Mac, managed to get a KFC once. Obviously, for 6 years, then no one goes to court, no one's bringing any type of good food in, but you would get chicken 3 times a year on festivals. One was Christmas, so you could get a bit of chicken. The main thing I was craving was an ice cream. On a Sunday, you get these newspapers. You'd be locked, the English print newspaper, but you'd be locked in sort of from 1:32, and it'd be roasting. You'd sit there, you'd be sweating. The sweat would just drip off you. You can't put the sheet on you because it's too hot. Flies are coming on you and all sorts. It's so frustrating. But what made it worse was this paper. You used to have cornettos, different ice creams all the way around the edge of the paper. And you used to look at these ice creams and be
Probably want to
slavering.
just buy it into the newspaper.
I did enough days. I was licking it, like, oh, that's really what I crave. Just something cold. So, yeah, didn't get near to
And
that. So that was one of the first things I got when I got out, an ice cream. Enjoyed that.
and and your story now, it's kind of like uh, it's if you had to go back, obviously you wouldn't put yourself in a situation, but for anybody out there, they're world travelers. There's so many countries in the world with different jurisdictions. Good luck getting your
Yeah.
embassy to bail you out half the time. Just as a word of caution for anybody who's probably, and it could be even Thailand. It need not necessarily be India. It could be so many countries in the world. What would you
Yes.
advise people? Just as a word of caution, beyond obviously, not carrying drugs in certain countries or not carrying but what would be a takeaway for somebody who's watching or who's listening in that listen, you might want to just this is not your home country and bail might not happen.
Of course, yeah. I mean, like you say, certain countries, if you've got a gun, it'll carry 15 years. If you've got cocaine, it might carry 5 years. And then another country, I'll give you 15 for the cocaine and 5 for the gun. So basically, you got to learn. I thought it was a banana republic. I'll be honest with you. I just thought they were so far behind, but they're a superpower and they're not obviously stupid. Another thing, it's my naivety, really, thinking. I mean, I didn't know that the amount there was. I thought there was a few in, but even so, even with that amount, I'd still think, well, they're not going to come and find me and go and arrest me for something that's, it's not heroin, it's not cocaine or something. So I'd say you've got to be just sort of aware, especially backpackers, because you're traveling through different places. You'll meet a lot of friends and stuff, and make sure you're watching your own bag.
Yeah. And where can somebody find your book?
It's on Amazon. It's in paperback, hardback, and like a Kindle format. Yeah, so if you just put No Tension in, and it'll just come up on Amazon, or you put my name in, Baz Hulse or whatever, and it's all on there. So there's a company in America called Barnes and Noble. I've just contacted for 800 copies, so it must be a good read. It's doing okay, so yeah, I'm pleased.
Well, Baz, enjoy your ice cream. An absolute pleasure to talk with you. And
you too, mate.
We'll mention the book in our podcast as well, and then I'll reach out to you obviously prior to the release. But thank you for making time, and you deserve all the steaks and ice creams that you can get your hand on.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.